Another brand new dinosaur movie is on the horizon. This one is known as The End of Oak Street. We have officially gotten a trailer today, and that's something that I want to talk about real quick. Now, first, let's cover the whole basic idea of this movie. So it will be starring Ewan McGregor and Anne Hathaway. It will be releasing at the end of the year on August 14th in theaters. So it's really not too far off, which is something that I'm pretty excited about. Now, basically, the whole premise seems to be we're following a regular suburban family that just lives life normally with the rest of their neighbors, but then suddenly their neighborhood gets ripped out of the ground essentially by a mysterious cosmic event and then potentially placed into the past where non-avian dinosaurs still roam free. It's certainly an interesting premise. We haven't really gotten too many dinosaur films that kind of use time travel, if that is what's being used right here. Maybe they were brought to an alien planet where the animals just so happen to look like non-avian dinosaurs. We have like a carnivore situation, but I haven't found anything that seems to hint at that fact. So I'm assuming that it's mostly going to be time travel that we're looking at here. Now, I think that it's possible that they will be going back to the Jurassic period. The reason why I think that is because of this image right here. Now, this image is not from the trailer itself. Rather, this is like an image that was on the internet for a while, a couple years ago when they were announcing the film. I don't know if it's an actual official image from the film, but if it is, then this seems to hint at the fact that there's likely going to be something like Brachiosaurus present because, well, it looks like Brachiosaurus. It has the proper posture. It has proportions that are decently close to Brachiosaurus. I think that it might possibly be Brachiosaurus. We do actually see a dinosaur in the trailer, but just very briefly. What I can make out of that dinosaur is that it is a theropod. It does seem to be a theropod dinosaur. It is quite large as well, as it towers over the poor people that it's chasing. And it has some pretty cool colors. I'm kind of seeing some reds and some oranges and some nice looking colors. Like it's not gray and boring, which is something that I like to see. I like to see some nice colors on them. Considering the fact that dinosaurs would have seen in color, it's likely that some of them would have more vibrant colors compared to the more dull and drab ones that you've seen in earlier reconstructions. As far as what theropod it is, I don't know, honestly. It's some very brief shots that we see through a window. We're on the inside of the house and we're looking out the window at the animal as it's running through the street. All I can really say with confidence is that this is a theropod dinosaur. Now, maybe it could be something like Allosaurus that, might be a little bit scaled up, or maybe it could be Torvosaurus. I kind of hope that it's Torvosaurus, and one of the reasons why I think it might be is because it kind of seems like it has a squared snout. I took this screenshot right here, which is just a quick shot of its snout. And again, it kind of looks like it's a little bit more squared, which is something that's a bit more similar to a megalosaurid like Torvosaurus. I think it's pretty unlikely that this is Torvosaurus. I'm sure it would likely be a more popular theropod that more people are familiar with. That's a fun thing to speculate. It would be really cool if it was something like Torvosaurus or really any megalosaurid for that matter. Again, I really do like the colors, and as it runs by, we get to see a little bit of its back and of course the tail, and it does seem to have quite a few spikes. That is something that worries me a little bit. The whole practice of putting osteoderms and spikes all over your theropods to make them look meaner and scarier because I guess they're not scary enough on their own. It's a practice that I'm not a fan of. I don't like just slapping spikes and osteoderms on these animals, especially when we don't really have evidence for it. But it seems like that's most likely what they're doing right here, which it might not be a problem. Maybe the design will look really cool. I think it's already a great start that it has pretty colors. But I think that making it look jagged is oftentimes something that's a little bit more distracting as opposed to something that really helps emphasize a nice design. But that's all based off of a very quick shot. I can't really put in too many of my thoughts right here. I am excited for this movie. Oh, and I also want to mention that we do get we see a brief shot of the area in which the neighborhood has been dropped, and they are literally just smack dab in the middle of a prehistoric forest, and it looks so cool. How vibrant everything is, all the plants look very interesting. It certainly does look like an alien planet, which that's a good route to take because a lot of environments in the past were kind of alien-like compared to what we have now. So it just looks really cool to me. So I'm very excited to see that, and I'm very excited to see the dinosaurs here. I'm also just very excited to see, people like Ewan McGregor and Anne Hathaway, who are fantastic actors. And yeah, we'll see how this movie does. I'm always going to be happy about more dinosaur movies that are not in the Jurassic franchise because I've said it before and I'll continue to say it. The Jurassic franchise does absolutely need some competition. If they are the only, like the only, if Universal's the only studio out there that is making dinosaur films, then that could certainly be a problem because quality could essentially drop in the Jurassic franchise, and that they won't see it as an issue because nobody else is making dinosaur films. So I hope that this film does well. I hope that this is a good film, and I hope it's like a proper, uh, you know, um, competition, like a competitor to the Jurassic franchise, much like Primitive War, because I thought the Primitive War did a pretty decent job at that. It warms my heart that we're starting to see more and more projects that are not just the Jurassic franchise. I love the Jurassic franchise, but I do think that we need more out there. We need some diversity in our dinosaur films. And this one brings an interesting concept to the table. It might bring some interesting designs to the table, and I'm excited. I hope it's a good movie. But that's pretty much all I have for this one. This was a shorter episode or shorter video today. But it was just a teaser trailer, so not too much to go off of, but we can start being excited about a new dinosaur movie. So be sure to let me know what you guys thought in the description down below or in the comments down below. Geez, I'm out of it today. But until next time, thank you so much for watching and have an awesome day.